Movie Podcast. Lady, you know this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurants, located right here at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Give them a call at 405-685-7773 for to-go order or dine in and experience the best Mexican food in the metro. Great food and even better customer service. Don't forget to let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you for 10% off your order. And don't forget to join them for $5 Margarita Wednesdays. That's house margaritas only on Wednesdays. Get your daily dose of foodgasm with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast and San Marcos Mexican Restaurants.
A piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
There's no crying in baseball. This is wrong, bitch. Hey, the Schwartz be with you.
I am your father.
At you, my pretty.
Take your stinking paws off me.
May the force be with you.
Here's Johnny.
What's up, film fans? Happy Sunday. Welcome to episode 294. Welcome to a top 5 episode, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I am joined by a cast crew. The guys, Edward.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
Jay.
What up? What up?
Zach.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's time to get excited.
It is excited time. It's a little excited time. It's a top 5 episode, guys. We don't have them too far between, but this week we're having one, and we're talking our top 5 movie theater experiences.
This is a very special episode because it came about at a suggestion about how we should just talk about our top movie experiences sometime. That me and Juan were just shooting shit back and forth, and we were like, we should do that one time. And here we are. We're going to talk to you about our movies that we like to go see in theaters.
The brainstorm of just a conversation can spark by anything. Just a few weeks ago, we talked our top 5 movies of 2023. So when we do have these top 5 specials, they're real fun. I'm sure we'll have some more down the line this year. Before we get started, let's start with you, Jay. How's the week been?
The week's been good. Just I've been trying to file for disability because I have my back's all messed up, and so I'm mentally messed up as well. So I was approved, and I finally got my first payment. I'm gonna be getting my own apartment pretty soon, so I'm pretty happy about that. So it's been a good week.
Good week. Zach?
Not too bad. Doing pretty good overall. Applied for a new job. Got an interview tomorrow. So, all things change up in life. So
everybody going
more
through
money.
changes.
More money.
Same line of work though.
Same line of work. Actually, same area, just a different position. So
good for you.
More money, more problems.
Exactly.
That was a good movie.
What about you?
Been going pretty good. Just dealing with those all those storms last night, like we all did. I know you got some up your way as well, Jay, for that matter.
That was a bitch storm.
But yeah, overall pretty good, man. Just work and then extracurricular activities. So school stuff.
Well, last week, if you guys did not listen to our episode, we talked all about True Lies. You guys can find that episode anywhere you listen to podcasts at Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, wherever you listen to podcasts. Again, if you guys want any of those links, you can visit our social media. Our social media is at thefacebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. You can check out the Instagram as well, Instagram/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The X, or formerly known as Twitter, is at Cine-Men405. And then you can always email us as well, cinemen921@gmail.com. But guys, not only is this is the start of a new week, new episode, but we have a busy week coming up. Because not only after today, we have sports podcasts on Thursday, but man, Friday night, May 3rd, 7 p.m., we have a live event screening of Night of the Living Dead at Film Row. Come hang out with us. Come see our pretty faces. Go check out the movie at the screening. Come hang out and talk to us during the movie.
Come get some merch. We got lighters. We got lighters and stickers coming, so come get some merch.
And overall, come see one of the best classical horror films ever. Literally, a ton of movies would not be the way they are, especially horror-wise, without this one. 1960s Psycho might have been the first like true slasher and all that good stuff. This one kind of put that modern-day zombie monster kind of deal going on, so if you've never seen this, or if you love it and you want to see it, come back, hang out with us, go from there. Just see it, man. It's going to be awesome. I promise it's going to be a great one. If you love horror and you've never seen this, I don't know why you're rooming with Patrick down in the Bikini Bottom, but you need to see this.
Oh, there'll be punch and pie.
There you go. Okay.
I'll just fucking with it. That's something they said on South Park to get people to show up to their La Resistance meeting.
And if you guys want to hang out with us, send us in some funds, help us out, help out the show, help you out, and that's how some of the merch is getting made. That's how we can update equipment, we can update a lot of stuff. There's the Cash App. Hang out with us, and don't forget.
You notice Jay don't have a camera, so he needs a camera set up.
And we all need green screens, right? Ed, you would do so much fun shit with a green screen behind you.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be good or not, though. Just saying.
I'd make it perverted somehow, some way.
I'd make it dumb as hell. Yeah. Hey, Ed to go would be on a whole nother level. Okay.
We have another sponsor here. We have OKC Soda. If you like their soda, you check them out. They're at Homelands. You can check them out.
Homelands, Crest here locally.
And they're getting ready to start up their own marijuana brand cola as well. So for all you pot smokers out there, get ahead on it.
Ed, what other kind of flavors do they have?
Oh man, they've got the orange cream soda. They've got an old favorite, the root beer. They've got strawberry milkshake, dude. Lemonade. I mean, come on now. They've got so many different flavors that are not usual with other soda companies. Like, I think the only one that's truly kind of keeping up as a variety of flavors would be a certain mountain company. But other than that,
And I'm seeing here on the advertising that it's made with real sugar cane and no additives or preservatives, made with real flavoring.
Real cane sugar, man. Like, this thing doesn't want you to go ahead and have all that nasty fructose corn syrup, that glucose and all that good crap going off. They want you to be at least decent with all your ingested beverages. So support local, support progressive. I mean, come on now, easy.
Let's get into some recent watches. Zach, we'll start with you. You have anything you want to recommend or anything you checked out this week?
Yeah, went out into the field, as you started to like to say. Went and saw Challengers, the News and Day movie, and checked out Abigail, the vampire movie. That was really good. That one was fun. I had a real good time with that one.
Okay, before we go any further, Zach, is Zendaya naked in the movie at all?
No.
That's all I want to fucking. Well, I guess I'll wait and see it on video on demand.
Dude, that whole entire the scene of the trailer where they're making out on the bed, where you think, like it's gonna be X-rated. No. She leans back. This is a spoiler. She leans back on the bed and she's just watching the two guys make out, and then she says, "Okay, I gotta go." So she's actually very good in the movie. To be honest, it's more of a character study type film. But I think a lot of people are expecting this to be like a hard R, and it's not really.
Well, I seen the advertisement and it said graphic nudity in it, so I had to ask.
No, it's not. It's not Zendaya.
And
Oh,
you know,
that
a lot
blows.
of people are complaining. Like I heard nothing but good things about the movie, but a lot of people are complaining that there's not enough sexual activity in the movie. And I guess that's
Yeah.
yeah.
The trailers heavily advertise that, and it's not that at all.
So they edge
So.
it basically.
So, other than that, go check out Abigail. I think it's a really fun horror movie.
That looks real good.
And
You
Ed, I
recommend
think
that?
you'll like it. Ed, I think you'll like it because it's from the director of Ready or Not. So,
Oh,
the
okay.
directors.
Yeah.
So,
My wife is really wanting to see that one. So yeah, okay, nice.
In the girl from Scream 5 and 6 in it.
yeah,
She
Melissa
plays the main
Barrera.
character. Yeah,
Nice.
very cool.
So after last week's episode, I kind of went through on a Kung Fu Panda rage. I watched 1, 2, and 3. Widely enough, I thought the second one was the best, followed by the first one. Then I thought the third one was okay.
Is the second one? Is Gary Oldman the bird in the second one?
The second one.
Yeah.
Then Bryan Cranston's the dad in the third one.
Yeah.
I lost track after 2.
You got to take.
I didn't realize it was a 60-year anniversary, but Avengers: Infinity War celebrated its 6 years. 5 years.
5 years on Friday. Yep.
And
which
I rewatched.
We're going to be talking about that here a little bit. So
yeah, I'm sure. I rewatched that. I had the itch to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Such a fun movie.
Bueller.
I kind of yeah. It makes you wonder, like, why can't they make fun movies like this anymore?
They're too afraid.
Have we done Ferris Bueller?
No.
Oh wow.
There we go. There we go. So you heard it right here, folks. Future episode, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We'll talk the hell out of Ferris Bueller.
Bro,
have we done the Breakfast Club as well?
We have.
Yeah.
Oh, well, damn.
Dude, no. So, I mean, this is whatever and all that. We can talk about this at another time in the podcast if we decide to do that. But with Ferris Bueller, the funniest scene in my thought is when she is just getting picked up by Ferris, but he's in the overcoat and the hat and all that. And she just leans a huge kiss on him. And the principal's like, well, I guess they do things differently in their family.
Well, I guess they do things different in that family.
You know, and he's just like, okay.
See, an incest joke. You can't get away with an incest joke today. Our movies in the 80s, Back to the Future was all about incest. So was Star Wars.
Yeah.
Dude, Back to the Future. Oh, my God.
And then during the Sirens last night, I was checking out the first season of the first season and the first episode of Fallout.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, real good. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I at least completed the first episode, and it was
I've
very,
never
very
played the
good.
game, so I can't tell you game-wise how close to the game it is. But
I heard it was a real close adaptation of the game, but like I said, I've only played the game a few times, but episode 1, pretty good so far. So, Jay, what about you?
Good, better, or the same level as The Last of Us?
Game-wise?
He's never seen The Last of Us.
I've only seen the first episode of The Last of Us, and they were both equal. I'd say equal.
Equal.
Yeah. So, Jay, what about you? Did you check anything out?
I continued my Modern Family marathon. I'm almost in season 7. It's a good show. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's got Ed O'Neill, famous for Al Bundy.
Yep.
Then I sat there and watched the 2-part. Evidently now it's 3-part. Spoiler alert, because part 2 ends on a cliffhanger. Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth, which was a big comic book series back in the day on DC rebooting their comic books. And so they had this event where all these different multiverse universes would be wiped out by this antimatter wave. And so the entire story is the superheroes from different Earths trying to come up with a way to get rid of this wave, and so that way they can survive. So it was pretty decent little animation. You know, like I said, I thought it was a 2-parter, but evidently it's a 3-parter. So there's that to look forward to. Ed?
Man, honestly, I haven't been checking out a lot of different stuff. I know I've been off for a little bit. Kind of had to go places and handle some things, make sure some people are all right, as well as kind of help out on a whole different little thing, baseball ventures with some family. Now, what I have checked out that I want to go ahead and press a little bit, The Draft. Man.
Is that the one with Kevin Costner?
No, not the movie.
The
Not the
NFL
movie.
draft.
Sorry.
The NFL draft.
My bad. The NFL draft.
Okay.
That was whew, that was good on some,
Did you guys
bad
do a
on
live
some.
episode?
We
Did
did
you
do
guys
a
do a
live
live episode
episode.
how'd that
Yeah.
go?
Yeah, we did. We did a live episode. It was a real fun episode. We talked the NFL draft. We were actually on air live for the first 10 picks
And
of
you
the
guys
draft.
picked, from what I understand, you guys picked pretty well on who was going where.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. We had a pretty good turnout as far as people on all the social medias hanging out and being on with us. And then the episode just dropped yesterday, so downloads are still up there. But yeah, Ed, what'd you think since you didn't get to join us? You guys can check us out. The latest episode of Sports Breakers, we did talk about the NFL draft.
Honestly, man, a couple of well-known picks. I mean, honestly, everybody knew Caleb Williams was going one. Personally, I don't see it. I don't see how he's like a generational talent. People are putting him above like Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck and different guys like that. And it's just like I don't think he's there yet. Andrew Luck was a hell of a lot better. Aaron Rodgers got his break and obviously has become pretty damn good. I mean, I think he'll be all right for maybe a couple years, but I think unfortunately he'll fizzle out.
I think that's just I don't want to
No,
say this.
just the OU hate
sounds like
biasness.
the OU bias is coming out.
No, dude, 100%. No. Because out of the 4 quarterbacks that have came out of OU camps in the past 6, 7 years or something like that, back to Mayfield. Mayfield is one of my favorites, one of my personal favorites that ever played for OU, legitly.
Yeah, but look at the teams that Mayfield had around him. Look at the team and defenses that Kyler Murray had around him. Look at the offense that was around Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts already being a prestigious quarterback coming from Alabama. Caleb Williams was that first true OU homegrown Lincoln Riley quarterback that was just, recruited by Lincoln Riley. He didn't place in Lincoln Riley's lap. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for a bonus episode of Sports Breakers today. As Ed and Juan have turned this into the Sports Breakers episode now.
With Caleb Williams, his head is too far up his own ass to really go and be there. Baker, too cocky and too. When Baker was in college, don't get me wrong, like I just said, one of my favorite quarterbacks easily.
Zach.
But Baker Mayfield didn't go through his reads properly, man. He maybe 2 or 3 tops and he'd snap at it. And he did pretty good with it, don't get me wrong. But as tradition unfortunately goes with OU, we get our asses kicked in the bowl most of the time. Kyler Murray, unfortunately, is sort of the same, but a lot more athletic. I think out of those two, Baker has had the better
Edward
career, but there's that.
Edward, how about you join the next sports podcast? Yeah, see, there we go.
It just depends on what I'm doing. I mean, legitly.
Speaking of, we'll go ahead and get out of here. No, I'm just messing with you. Thursday, 7:30 p.m. If you guys want to talk, we will be talking more NFL draft, NBA playoffs, and we'll give our full predictions for WWE Backlash this weekend on Thursday's episode this week of the Sports Breakers podcast.
But thank you for joining us for our bonus episode.
I will end on this, and I will end it. I am hopeful for our pick, number 12, Bo Nix, Oregon. Is he older? Yes. I think he does better in the pocket than most of the other quarterbacks that got picked early. I don't know yet. Under Sean Payton, it could go either way. Me and you have already kind of talked about this one in your words exactly, and I agree with them. It will depend specifically on how he does, to where if it was Russell Wilson or Sean Payton, that was the detonator, we shall say. So that's all I got to say.
Some good recent watches. If you guys want to send in your recent watches, send us in some emails. And we can we'll go over some of you guys' recent watches.
Send anything in. We'll talk about it on air. We have no problem talking. Right now, we want to talk about another one of our sponsors that we're going to have a big deal to do with on May 3rd, and that's Rodeo Cinema. Zach, take it away.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back in the movie world, Yeah, our good friends at Rodeo Cinema, OKC's independent non-for-profit theater, showing new movies, old movies, and everything in between. Available to rent for public and private events. 2 locations, one in the stockyards of Oklahoma City and Film Row, 701 West Sheridan Avenue in downtown Oklahoma City. Currently, they are showing Challengers, which I talked on recent watches, Monkey Man. They're gonna show the 25th anniversary of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and don't forget, guys, this Friday, May the 3rd, we are doing a live show of the Night of the Living Dead at Film Row, 701 West Sheridan Avenue. Come see us, come hang out with us, watch the movie, talk about the movie with us. It's gonna be a fun, action-packed edition of the show. And tell them that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you.
And you can come take a picture with Zach, Ed, Jay, and myself.
Yeah.
I can't promise my picture will be tasteful, but I will take one with you.
And but yeah, guys, let's get into our honorable mentions. Any honorable mentions of movie theater taste, movie theater experiences? I have only one, and I'll kind of rapid fire if anybody else has any.
I have 2.
I have 2.
I got 5.
You got
Damn.
5 honorable mentions? Then I think you should go first.
Hey, listen.
Zach, go ahead and rapid fire through yours.
I'll just rapid fire through mine. The Dark Knight, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Peter Jackson's King Kong from 2005, Mission Impossible Fallout. Saw that on the IMAX theater. That was incredible. And my official honorable mention is the re-release of Jurassic Park in 3D in 2013 when it celebrated its 20th anniversary.
I seen it in 3D at Juan's house when he had his 3D TV. He was like, check this shit out. And I was like, holy shit, this is so awesome.
And it was a really good transfer. It was a really good like post transition into 3D. So that's my official honorable mention. That one it kind of hurt me to let that one out as an honorable mention. So.
Ooh, I was gonna say, Zach, do you have any? Or Ed, do you have any?
Yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick out Guardians of the Galaxy, the original. With that movie, it's more of a personal thing. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast a couple times. Kind of hit some personal feels right as the first scene kicked off with that movie. So that's a very memorable, very impactful movie in my eyes. Every single time, it kind of still does the same thing.
It's not a joke yet, but I could just see you when that scene happened. You're like, oh shit! Like, just right off the bat.
Dude, no, like, okay, so I'm sitting up in the balcony at the Warren on the far right front, and all the stuff starts going down, and then you see the mother in the bed with cancer, bald and all that good stuff, and like she starts to pass, and like I'm just like bawling because I'm just like, dude, I swear to God, some of the parallels of that entire you have
no idea.
I was sad, I was transfixed, and I was just like, dude, seriously. And my wife was looking at me, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I just held my finger up, just give me hold on. And she's like, "Okay," and all that. And it was just like, because, damn, dude. So that's 1. 2, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Resurrection F, Frieza. 2015, August 4th should have been. Man, packed theater. It was an awesome take on it. I was awesome. I was really honored to get to be there and all that good stuff. And I love how Harkins Theaters brought in anime like that, for that matter. Now, this was not the first time. This was the second time I had seen that. So, there's that, but still is a memorable thing. And the third and final one I'm going to go ahead and go with is basically the end game of the MCU. There's a reason I'm specifically saying this one beforehand. There's a reason. But if you have gone to that movie and you have seen it and you have heard during that one of the last scenes how much everybody was dead silent, man, power like that does not come up often. It really doesn't.
You could hear laughters in the theater, and in the theater I was in, whenever they had that girl boss scene.
Oh,
Seriously, there was laughter in my theater. Everybody was laughing at that scene. I was like, "Uh-oh, not the
But
thing they wanted."
no, I know, right? But dude, during the funeral scene,
Oh, that was fucking
all
horrifying.
all you could hear was, little sniffles and crying and shit like that, and it was just like I said, it was just powerful. Like, you really want to build something up and like just get that little sense of I have you by the neck in my
Well,
hand.
the thing you got to realize about the
Yeah.
MCU though is that some kids, some people, these things started when they were 9 and 10 years old. And by the time we got to Endgame, they were 17, 18, 19 years old kids. And they grew up with Tony Stark as one of their favorite characters. Robert Downey Jr. was the fucking man to them.
Mhm.
And they knew Thor like a brother. It was a cool thing.
Yep.
We'll never have that time frame back again, but it's pretty cool. It's been the movie's now a present film, whereas when it came out, it was a future film.
And dude, the only thing on that I could go negating or call a negative is that they did it that well that everything after has kind of seemed like an afterthought. I mean, honestly, that's the only negative I can really give that film is you made it so damn powerful and so damn good, and fan service through the friggin' fan service everywhere, literally, that you screwed yourself up in a way, just a little bit.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot more, but I feel like that's where they messed up is they went their separate ways. I feel like they should have kept the Russo brothers after that movie and almost kept them as let them kind of be your Christopher Nolan to what your DC should have been.
As the kids say today, let them cook. Let them cook. Okay?
They cooked some pretty good movies.
I have 2 honorable mentions. I'll go through them real quick. It's going to be The Batman from 2021. Just opening week, I think I saw that thing 4 times that week.
Don't lie. You saw it 13 times in one day.
The script, the score, everything about that movie was fantastic for me, especially seeing it in theater setting. And then my official honorable mention is Top Gun Maverick. The laughs, the sound, the jets, the music. Man, what an experience! And if it got released again in IMAX next week, guess what? I probably would go and see it one more time in IMAX because that's just a movie that you have to see in a theater. And those jets rumbling is insane. The first 10 minutes alone, I feel like you get your money's worth in that movie, at least at the theater. So those are my 2 though. Jay, what about you?
All right, I'm trying to decide which one to say first, but I'll go ahead. I narrowed it down. Fuck it. It's kind of it's not embarrassing for me, but I just thought it was a funny story. I went and seen Aladdin in 1992 when it came out in theaters. Okay, we're talking the animated movie. We're at the $1.50 show seeing this thing, and as we're coming in the theater, the very last row, it's a guy with gold spray painting it into his bag and sniffing spray paint. So that's my Aladdin experience.
Okay, he was trying to be like the genie then.
Is that the pathetic story? Is that coming up?
That was the kind of pathetic story, but the cool story. I went and seen me, my ex-wife, and her best friend. We all went and seen The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville, the one where he plays the handicapped guy. And during that movie, I got a phone call, and it was a message from my girlfriend my ex-wife at the time, and her friend saying, "Guess who's going to have a threesome tonight?" So I could thank The Ringer for getting me a threesome.
There you go. Old Johnny Knoxville making others' dreams a reality.
Come true.
Made somebody else ringer that night.
I got a fucking Special Olympics medal that night.
Woo! When the fuck did we have ice cream?
Oh my god.
So yeah, I told you, Zach. I'm an odd breed, Zach. I'm a very odd breed.
All right, guys, we're getting ready to get into our top 5 theater experiences, but before we do, Horror Wednesdays are back starting Wednesday, May 15th, 7:30, right here on the same YouTube channel you watch this one on, live on Im's Wild Productions YouTube channel. Me and the guys, Franco and Nick, are going to talk all about Friday the 14th podcast presents Saw 10.
Saw 10.
Came out last year. Technically, it's like Saw two and a half, 1.5, because
Yep.
it takes place right after the first one. But I think it's going to be a fun episode. It's a lot of our favorite franchises over on that podcast. So come hang out with us. Come check us out. Send us some emails. Comment with us on the YouTube page. And then if you can't join us on YouTube, it'll drop on Friday, like they always do, Friday the 14th podcast on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast podcast page. So join us Wednesday, 7:30, May 15th, as we talk Saw 10 over on Friday the 14th podcast. All right, guys, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. Let's talk our top 5 favorite movie theater experiences. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Who wants to go?
I'll go first.
Jay, let's start
Don't
you off
mind.
with number 5.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go first with number 5. Okay. My number 5 movie is The Mask, starring Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. I've seen it in Edmond, Oklahoma at the Kicking Cinema at a special sneak preview, which means it hadn't been released nationwide yet. So it was a week before it came out. And I remembered this, so I wrote it down as a little side note. They showed the Dumb and Dumber trailer before the movie started. So it was a kind of a double dose of Jim Carrey. Okay, and I wrote down what my own memories, so I'm going to stick to trying to read off my memories off paper as best as I can. I might throw things in there every once in a while, but I'm just going to stick with what I wrote down. Was memorable due to seeing it early and being a huge Jim Carrey fan at the time. After cinema experience was made it fun in a sad way. Went to the movie theater with my 2 cousins, Carl and Elvis. Their mom was to pick us up, and she ended up passing out because she was doing drugs. So we had to walk. We had to walk 3 miles home at 11 o'clock at night in the middle of Edmond, and we had to walk through a cemetery. And while we were walking through the cemetery, me and Elvis were giving Carl shit like we were pretending like ghosts were behind him shit. So, like I said, it's just like the movie theater experience. It's always my experience. It's the whole experience. What I go through from the time I leave the house to the time I get home. That's the experience for me. So yeah, our aunt done drugs, so we had to walk 3 miles.
Man.
Okay, that just turned into like a Shyamalan twist. It was like I went and saw The Mask, and then it just went like what? Like way off course.
I kind of wish I took the words into consideration though. Top 5 movie theater experiences, because man, we all would have had some stories. But yeah, that's man. Did you guys at least talk about The Mask on the way home?
We did. We talked about it. We thought how it was cool and everything. But like I said, at the time, Jim Carrey could do no wrong. That was when he was becoming the $20 million man. Yeah. And he was getting ready to do the Cable Guy. And like I said, because you got up and walked away for a second there, Juan, they showed the Dumb and Dumber trailer before The Mask started.
Oh yeah, he had a massive 1994.
It was Ace Ventura in like March, June or July was the Mask, and then November was Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. So he was huge during that time.
Huge.
And a lot of people sit there and say the year 94 was a big year for movies in general, and he was in 3 of the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, that's my number 5, guys.
I don't know if I'm going to have a story like that, but my number 5 story is going to be Infinity War. I rewatched it yesterday to kind of just take it in and developing the waiting in line. We got there, I think me and Craig got there at like 6:30, and the line and the build was just, everybody was talking about it, and I think the movie that came out before was it Black Panther, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or no, it was I thought it was Captain Marvel.
It's Captain Marvel, yeah.
Before
No.
Infinity War?
It was Black Panther. It was Black Panther the
Captain
same
Marvel
year.
came out
And then,
before Endgame.
yeah.
So like we were sitting there waiting and just what's going to happen is we were just, I think the whole fun part about before is the experience of waiting in line, giving your guesstimations on what might happen. How long is Thanos going to be in the movie? How many people die, if any die?
Who dies?
Yeah, then
Nobody
the movie,
dies. Say
you know,
nobody dies. at all.
during you know, the honorable mentions, you guys were talking about Endgame, how you can hear a pin drop. When Thanos snapped his finger in the theater that we were in, first off, it's a packed theater, elbow to elbow. When he snapped his finger, the theater was just so silent. And then it was an awkward moment because it kind of felt like we weren't supposed to be watching this.
Yep.
And it's like, really, where are they going with this? And everybody everybody
laughed.
started.
I'm not gonna lie. I laughed because I was like, they fucking pulled it off. They had the villain fucking win. Now let's see who's gonna be the Deadpool.
And it even though I didn't get to go see this in theaters, it had Empire Strikes vibes as far as the end goes, because the bad guy wins. It's not a happy ending. Then you get into it. I think we even talked about this when we talked about Infinity War 6 years ago. It was a happy ending for Thanos.
Oh, that's he got his wish.
He got his wish. So depending on the way you look at it, there was a happy ending. And I thought about that last night again too. I was like, man,
aim for the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it was just such a powerful ending. But let's not even just the ending, just the overall film experience in general. Iron Man battling up against the Guardians of the Galaxy for that scene. The movie mentions that Spider-Man gives, hey, have you seen this really old movie, Aliens? All this stuff just going back and forth, like, man, the comedy aspect, the action, and then the sadness. Huge movie, and I'm glad I got to experience that inside of a theater because thanks to our little friend COVID, I don't think I'll ever be in a movie theater again with that packed of a house.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's gonna ever happen again for me. Unless I go to like a 7 p.m. IMAX showing of Deadpool, which why would I do that to myself now? Hello? Even though you want those theater experiences,
you'll be there. You'll be there.
No, I'm just saying, like, COVID has changed everybody so much to where, like, guess what? I can go on a Sunday morning and just be 3 people in there instead of going on a Saturday night and being elbow to elbow with somebody. It's gotten me accustomed to not wanting to be around people. Whole other topic, right? Whole other topic.
But it's still part of the movie experience, though.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah.
I'm going to take a left turn real quick. I'm talking to this chick. She says she's listening to us right now on the podcast, and she says that we're cracking her up so hard. So
there you go.
There you go. We have a viewer out there giving us some feedback.
Yeah. Feedback is good back. Any back is good. But yeah, that's my number 5 is Infinity War. Ed, what about you? What's your number 5?
Man, my number 5, I was very young, so I don't remember a lot of it. That's why it is number 5. 101 Dalmatians back in 1996 with Cruella DeVille. Yes.
Wow.
This was the
Jeff
first.
Daniels.
Yeah. This is the first movie that I can remember going to in the theater. I went to the Dollar Theater with my grandmother. Like I said, I was around 5 or so. And
nice.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy that I do remember that, but I mean, there could have been more before that. I don't know. That is the literal first movie I ever remember actually going to a theater and watching. And still to this day, I don't see it a lot, but I do like to see it every now and then. It's not one that I'm just going to be out of my way to see, but if it's on, I definitely aren't going to just like turn it off and act like I hate the film. Yeah. Waiting to have that same memory one day with my nephew, but that kid is a ball of energy. He does not like to be quiet, so we'll see when that happens. But yeah, that's my number 5.
Zach, what about you? What's your number 5?
So number 5, I'm gonna jump off of your number 5, Johnny. I'm just gonna combine Infinity War and Endgame because it was just a monumental experience. I saw Iron Man in the theater when it came out in 2008, and I followed all these films up until this point. And the buildup for this was just so massively huge to the point where, are they going to mess this up? Who's going to die? Just the thrill, the experience of everything that's been building is finally paid off. And when you see Thanos for the first time and he kicks the hell out of the Hulk in that first 10, 15 minutes of the movie, and you're just like, Okay, so let's go. We were me and my friend. We went and had pizza like a couple hours before the movie. We got in there. Ed, we worked over the balcony at the Warren for a couple years. We sat up there. It was filled up. Downstairs was filled up. It was just an incredible experience. And then, like you said, Johnny, when Thanos snaps his fingers, you're just like, what the hell is happening? And then everybody starts to turn to dust. You're just like, what? And then Thanos has a smile, and it's over. And you're just like, hey, you're like, what the fuck? You're pissed off, and then you have to wait a whole another year for Endgame. And then when Endgame comes around, and I think me and Craig went and saw it in IMAX the first time around. And then me and my friend that always went and saw the Marvel movies, he was in the National Guard and he got called away and he had to wait for Endgame. His drill sergeant said, his drill sergeant like ruined that Tony Stark dies, and he was like, no, it's not true, like just ruined it. And so like
Thanks
he
for running
came
their
to me.
experience now. I didn't know that.
And so he came to me and he said, is that really true? I said, no, that's not true at all. So I had to like lie to him. And so like when Endgame came, yeah, that was just another like monumental experience of like, how is all this going to be resolved, essentially? And the fact that they used the entire 22 film arc of the MCU and was able to pay off everything, essentially, to the last hanging thread. And like you said, that funeral scene is just, it was so silent. You could hear a pin drop that everyone was just like, they wanted to bawl cry, but they didn't want to do it. And the fact that they paid off, that Thanos was a payoff that actually succeeded. Josh Brolin was excellent in the role. You feared him. Part of you wanted him to see like how far he was going to take everything, and just the threatening tone and nature of like, there's too many. The galaxy's messed up. We have to fix this, and you kind of understand to a certain point like his motives.
A lot of it was like his specific points of, this is my facts. I don't care about what you think or what you say. You're going to kill me to get this to be a non-fact. Yeah. So, it was kind of the, I'm right, you're wrong. Kill me if you're right.
And like I said, I texted you guys in the group thread on Friday saying Endgame celebrated. It's been 5 years since that movie came out. That to me is just baffling. And the fact that we'll talk about it as we go on. I think Deadpool and Wolverine, which we haven't talked about the trailer. I think that one could be. I think that movie could be $1 billion. But the only $1 billion movie since Endgame was Spider-Man: No Way Home. And you could chalk that up to nostalgia. You could chalk that up to it is like an Avengers-like experience. But what does that tell you? Not only, like you said, Johnny, we had a pandemic that literally almost ruined the movie theater experience. But
it did. It's just slowly dying off.
But it also caused these studios to be like, hey, we need to find another way to survive. And that's why streaming is also one of the daggers that's killing theaters. It's like, why, I've had people at my work say, did you go see the movie? I was like, yeah. But like, why would I go see Dune Part 2 when in like 2 weeks it's going to be on Max, or like 3 months? Why would you do that?
Popcorn bucket.
Do you know what one I want to see that comes out very soon? That looks that I've seen the previous film of the series. It was Mad Max, the last Mad Max movie. I want to see Furiosa. That looks fucking amazing. That looks that's crazy. Balls to the wall, crazy.
Yeah, and that's a theater level experience, and we'll talk about it more as we go on. But I think the theater experience is necessary. I don't think you have to see everything in theaters, but it's an experience for something. Need to be said,
because it has those beast of shots with the cars cruising through the desert and shit like that blowing up. Twisters being another movie that you have to see in theaters. Big F5 tornado on a 5-foot screen. Oh, come on.
Come on. No, don't worry about that. Well, we're going to see that at the theater. But anyway, long-winded way of saying number 5 is Infinity War and Endgame combined. So
fair.
Jay, number 4.
I'm going to go with Jurassic Park. And we talked about 3D. It was an honorable mention 3D a while ago. But I seen it in the summer of '93 opening weekend that it came out. I seen it at Crossroads 8. I went in blind on this one, seen a couple of those 30-second TV spots that you know which ones I'm talking about, that coming Friday, Jurassic Park, those type of shit. And I was like,
Yeah.
but I hadn't seen anything else. I haven't seen a full trailer and had a full understanding of what the hell the movie was. I was like, dinosaurs, and it's called Jurassic Park. It's about a theme park. I'm like, okay, I'll check this shit out. I'm 11 years old at the time, so me and my brother were gonna go see the movie together. But sometime before we got there, he's like, I'm not gonna go see it with you. I'm gonna go see Dennis the Menace instead. So I was like, fine, whatever. And so sitting in the middle of the theater, the lights dim, and they show some trailers. I don't know which ones they showed. The movie starts and the music starts. The booming music completely grabs my attention, and for the next 2 hours, I was one with the movie. I went to my Aunt Anita's and Uncle Johnny's house after the movie was over, and I wouldn't shut up about this movie. So, yeah, that's my experience with Jurassic Park.
Man.
That's awesome.
Your dad would sit there and like, oh, is it called your ass at the park? I'm like, huh.
Can you remember? Can you remember was it packed?
Oh, the theater was packed. Everybody was on the edge of their seats. Like I said, that's one of those movie theater experiences that you guys got to experience the 3D re-release. I got to experience in real time 93 release.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I actually saw that in the theater the first time around, but I don't have any memory of it. But I'm pretty sure I saw that in the theater when it came out.
I didn't even go see it in the re-release of 2013. It was I should have. Next time I gotta find it next time.
They re-released it late last year for its 30th anniversary, and it was in 3D. So,
damn.
They're getting ready to re-release the extended versions and the theatrical cuts of all 3 Lord of the Rings movies again in June.
Oh yeah,
for the 25th anniversary.
Jesus.
So yeah, we're getting some more anniversary movies coming in.
You're Joe. Oh my God.
Ed, what about you? What's number 4?
Number 4 for me, man, is going to be a 2-parter. So I mentioned one of them earlier. I'm going to mention the first one that came in and that I got to see. So Dragon Ball Z is a big thing. Akira Toriyama unfortunately passed away not too long ago. A lot of people in the world mourn that. But one of the first films that I ever got to see in a theater, at least, was Dragon Ball Z's Battle of the Gods. It was one of the newest returns since Dragon Ball GT. Some consider that non-canon. Some consider that a failure. Some like some of it. You've got your own opinion. Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods, gotta say, it was awesome to go in there and just see that. Dude, that theater was, okay, so you got to go in. They had 4 theaters packed. 4 packed. Same time. My wife and I went, and she wasn't really wanting to go, but I was just like, this is the first time, it's gonna be cool. Yeah, and gosh, man.
It, didn't you?
No, man. It lived up to its title. It lived up to its thought, experience, whatever you want to call it. Man, it was just cool to see it in theaters for the first time, and especially with I don't know how many people were in that room. It was well over 100, well over. But it was awesome just to see that. The other part of this is going to be kind of coming back on the Johnny One's coattails, the Batman 2022. That was another first of mine. I got to see it. I got to experience that in the 4DX theater setting. That was really cool. I went on my own, 2022, just to experience it. Completely packed theater. In fact, the 2 females next to me did not know what was going on with the 4DX. They had nachos, chili, cheese, and all that good junk. And I looked over at them and I was like, you might want to finish that kind of quickly. just trying to be nice and like helpful here. They're like, what do you mean? Why? And I was just like, well, this is a thing that you get squirted with water, you get squirted with air. It's like a roller coaster ride. You go forward, back, side, up, down, all that good stuff. And they're like, are you serious? I was like, unfortunately, I am very serious on this. This is my first time as well, but I've had family and friends go and see movies with this. So I'd finish those nachos before the credits start or before the movie starts. And they're just like, okay, thanks for the tip. And they start chowing down. Funny thing is some of the, if I'm not mistaken, some of the pre-screenings were also put in 40X, and they had a bit of a time eating. So, yeah, that was, and I mean, the movie is awesome. Of course, we've done over the movie, so go back and see those that or review that in the past. However, gotta love the Batman. Robert Pattinson surpassed all of our views on him before that. So, yeah. Actually, I think yours was the only one that he didn't surpass. One, I think you were already.
You were what?
Damn, I think you were already understanding of how he was going to do in that, because you said Good Times and The Lighthouse were the two to kind of that brought you to his more serious actor side.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. So it's just like, if he can hold his own with Willem Dafoe in a film like that, as well as Good Time, you said he was just great in that. So it's like, all right, I respect it.
Man. My number 4 is going to be the re-release of Titanic in 3D.
Oh, nice.
I was a huge Titanic fan. I loved seeing the 2-part VHS tape. So in 2012, whenever they did the re-release for the theatrical 3D version, I was actually up in the air. I'm like, do I go see regular? Do I go see 3D? So I went and saw 3D in IMAX. It was elbow to elbow, sold out.
I'm not trying to cut you off. My headset cut out. What'd you say your movie was?
Titanic in 3D in 2012.
Ooh, I've seen that movie in theaters when it first came out too.
It was pretty fun. Another pin dropping experience though is like when the ship sank and the whole scene again, Jack's trying to get on the boat. Even though it was a re-release so many years later, like again, I was looking around at the packed theater, complete silence, tears going down people's faces. I'm like, man, see, if your movie can do this the first time around, and then again in a completely different decade, I think you've you know what the hell you're doing. So that was a fun experience, and seeing Titanic on that massive of an IMAX screen with that sound, it was so fun.
Little known fact for you, I'll throw a little fact out for you. It was supposed to come out in the summer of '97, but it came out in December of '97 because they couldn't complete the film in time.
Yep.
Wow,
that's true.
Sorry, I'm a part. I have a little trivia things. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
We love it.
No.
We love it.
No.
So yeah, Titanic was number 4 for me.
I can feel that experience there with you, Juan, because I seen Titanic 6 times in theaters during the time it came out.
Oh wow.
Well, I seen it 5 times in theaters and once at the drive-in, and so the reason why I seen it so many times was because my buddy wanted to go see it and didn't want to be the only guy there. Hey, go with me. My mom wanted to see it because my mom never really went to movies either. And this time she's like, I want to go see it. So we went to the drive-in and seen it. And it was so Titanic has a very special place in my heart, even though it's not on my list.
Yeah.
Zach, number 4 for you?
Number 4, 2015, the Warren Theater balcony. To put some, this is one of those story type things. Me and my mom went and saw this like Christmas play thing at the OKC Civic Center downtown. It was terrible, and so we were trying to figure out something else to do, and so we got out and Creed had just come out. It was for Thanksgiving. It was a Thanksgiving release. I said, do you want to go see it? I said, yeah, I actually had just got done watching all the Rocky movies, and so I was caught up with the series and everything, even though this was a spinoff. She said, I only want to see if we can see it in the balcony. I was like, okay, let me see what they got. And sure enough, and we sat on the right side of the balcony, row C, I think. Oh, 3 and 4, I think.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible experience. Like I did not know a movie could just rock you to your core like that. I mean, it was. I didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, I knew it was like one of the characters' sons, and Rocky was going to train him, and all this and that. But just the emotion and the fight sequences, the performances of Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Stallone, the fact that they called back to the actual like the classic Rocky theme or Rocky music during the ending fight sequence. Like I was actually like dodging my head during some of the fight sequences because it was just like I got so into it. And so, we got out and my mom asked, "What did you think?" I said, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. And still to this day, it's still like 1-2 on my favorite movies of all time. So that to me is like when you walk out and it's like, that was an experience like Endgame, like Titanic, like Jurassic Park. That to me is like what, that's what one of the movies is about. So yeah, number four is Creed.
Nice. Jay, what about you? What's number 3?
Number 3 is Scream.
Oof.
Oh, Scream.
I seen it at the Almani 6 movie theater. Johnny might know where that's at.
Yep. It's right there on 59th, right? There used to be.
59th of May. Yeah, 59th of May. Originally, Scream came out December, the second week of December in 1996. And if you live in Oklahoma City, you know how things are spread out. Things are spread out pretty far. Like if we're going from like the south side of town to the north side of town, it could take you 30 to 45 minutes. No bullshit. It could take you a minute to go from one side of town to the other. So my mom always had this rule of, no, I'm not taking to Quail Springs Mall to go see a movie. I'm not taking to Penn Square Mall to see a movie. So if it was near the theater near our house, we got to go see it. And Scream played at the Quail Springs Mall. It never played anywhere down south. So by this April of '97, the Almani 6 finally got it in. And I said, here's what I wrote down. I put, up until then, the movie had been showing at theaters further away that my mom would drive me to. So it finally arrived at a theater I was close to. It was shown at Almani's. It showed on Almani's smallest screen, but that didn't matter. I was about to watch Scream. I had so much fun with this movie. I got caught up in the mystery of who was the killer or killers. When the ending played out, I remember it being in awe that I didn't figure out who was doing what. And the last 20 minutes of the movie is some of my favorite cinematic stuff ever put on film, because the last 20 minutes with the reveal and everything is just beautiful in my opinion. Being 15 years old when the movie came out, it spoke to me and it opened my eyes to a whole different genre of movie I was going to end up being introduced to.
Stay down.
That's my Scream experience.
But, now that you said that, it kind of makes me wonder, like, I remember some being like 7, 8 in like 98, 99. I kind of remember now, while certain movies were brand new, they would only play on like the north side of town, or like the high side of town. And now looking back at it, I'm like, I wonder what was that issue.
It was because of the rich people. They had the rich bougie theaters on the north side of town. They had it's the dog. Yeah, it's the dog. He muted. But what the reason why it was because Quail Springs Mall and Penn Square Mall was considered the bougie malls, and they were more independently owned and ran, and so they got like Dogma, Mallrats, Clerks, and shit like that. I know that's 3 Kevin Smith movies, but again, those were 3 movies that played up north that never came south. So
yeah, I wonder too, like why certain movies, like even when they came out in the summertime, at least in our neck of the woods. Like, yeah, only on the north side, and then the other part was like we were a drive-in family, so we'd always try to go to the drive-in. But like certain movies, even though it came out in July or in the middle of the summer, it would be theater exclusive and you couldn't get in the drive-in.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Winchester, aren't you?
Yeah.
I used to work at the Winchester during the summer of '97. A little FYI about Jay. The year that The Lost World came out, I worked that summer. The Lost World. They played Cliffhanger first. They pretty much played the same 3 movies all summer long. They had Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone first. Anybody remember that movie?
That's a damn good movie.
Yep.
Or not Cliffhanger. I'm sorry. Daylight. The movie where they get stuck in the fucking tunnel. Sylvester Stallone's in it. They get all stuck in the tunnel. Then The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2, and then Ransom.
Ransom was so good. Man, that's a good number 3 though. Kicking it off with Scream. Ed, what about you? What's number 3 for you?
All right, 1 second. Let me get back here. All right, number 3 for me is actually a shared movie experience with you and I. Yes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I knew that was going to be it.
What was your number 3? I'm sorry. Someone was talking to me real quick. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, all right. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Great movie.
Juan and I actually went to a theater to see this. If I'm not mistaken, was it Crossroads?
Crossroads. That was a terrible experience, though.
It was fun because it was with you. Okay, it was fun because I was with my cousins, one of my best friends. Go from there. Basically. This movie
pissed off.
Yes, he was. I was kind of like, what the hell? But it was fun just because of all that. The movie kept stalling. The movie kept getting knocked out, power and all that crap. It was ridiculous. What was it? 3 different times it messed up, if I'm not mistaken.
So the movie's 3 hours and 20 minutes, I believe. I think we went at noon to see the movie. We were recording the episode at 6. Me and you got here to record the episode at 5:40. We spent almost 4.5 hours trying to finish this movie at this theater.
And note, where he lives, I would say it's within 15 minutes of Crossroads. So that means that was at least about a 5.5 hour movie, literally. Okay. But dude, it sucked, but at the same time, it was a fun experience. It was a memorable experience just because of what happened, who it was with. We got to see the movie. I've seen it several times since then.
And you know what I've noticed about talk about top 5 movie experiences so far. This is just so far that I've observed. It's not the movie we're watching sometimes. It's the experience and the people we're with. That's what makes the experience what it is. The experience of you, like you said, you and Johnny going and seeing this movie, and Johnny just straight up said that time sucked, bro, and you liked it. and that right there tells you everything you need to know. One person sat there and thought that time sucked. The other person, that's one of my favorite experiences ever going to a movie theater. And
the only reason it sucked for me though is because it was a July movie and it was already warm in the theater anyway.
Oh yeah.
When the power went out, it was hot, it was muggy. We even had that time where it was 45 minutes straight, Ed, of nothing. They were using that 45 minutes to get the power back on.
We were just the 4D version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
We were just walking around, going and hanging out, talking. You were pissed most of the time because you're like, are they ever going to get this damn thing on? Because I might as well go get my damn money back. But after, this point in time, I know they won't.
Well, I was only kind of stressed because I'm like, the episode's in 3 hours. What do we do if we don't see the movie and we
literally
we could have just pushed the recording, right? You guys could have went to another theater.
Oh, fuck that. They're on a time schedule. They were fucking straight up. They had to be on time. God forbid.
But yeah, man, that was one of my favorite experiences for those main reasons, as man. You just don't get that all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It did suck to a point, but it I think is a positive because of the grind we were trying, especially at that time, because that was 2019. 2019.
Yeah,
I don't think you were with us even yet. Were you?
Exactly. I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't go. I didn't go see the movie with you guys, but we did the show. I was with the show.
Like Jay said, it was 4DX. It felt like we were in Hollywood.
But yeah.
Can I tell you one of my worst movie experiences real quick? Okay, I would. Okay, my brother Joe is about as dim-witted as they fucking come. He's about as smart as a box of rocks sometimes. Okay, I hate to say that about my brother, but dude's not too fucking bright. And I was like, I'll hold her. We went to go see Meet the Parents, and I was like, bro, I'll hold the seats, and you go get me a Mountain Dew, and I'll hold our seats, man. And because it was a packed theater, and we had great middle of the row fucking seats, man. And he was like, all right. So I'm sitting there watching the movie, the trailers, those start, the movie starts, the movie's still fucking playing. Joe still hasn't came back with my Mountain Dew. And I end up watching the entire fucking movie, and I come out there, and I'm looking through the movie theater, and I'm like, and I finally find him. I was like, and he's holding my fucking Mountain Dew, and I'm like, what the fuck happened, bro? He's like, oh, I would have seen another movie. I was like, you couldn't have brought me my Mountain Dew back? He was like,
What did he go see?
He went and seen the Mothman Prophecies.
Oh, shit. That's a hell of a different movie.
I'm sorry. I just had to bring that up. You guys loved it. I know you did. This motherfucker took my money. And then he had enough balls to just hand it to me like nothing fucking happened. So here's the Mountain Dew.
Sorry, man. I went and saw another movie.
You know what I love even more about that story than it was a mess up about Mountain Dew? Is that you loved your seat so much you didn't get up and go check on if something happened to your brother.
You were so into.
I can milk anything with nipples, Greg. I was involved in that conversation, bro.
That's so.
Your brother could have been kidnapped, but you're just so worried about Meet the Parents.
So fuck it, right?
You know how I thought you were going to end that story was he couldn't find you, so he like sat in the very front row because you guys were in the middle of the theater.
And you know what? It wouldn't have been fucking too far off from how dim that guy is. I know he's my brother, but you guys, Juan, Ed, you know my brother Joe. Joe is not the brightest fucking crown in the box.
That's how I thought the story was going to end with. Yeah, he couldn't find me, so he was in the very front row.
When we sat down, I was like, "I'll be right here." We both went to the same fucking seat. He sat in his seat for a couple minutes and took my order. I was like, "I want a fucking large Mountain Dew, easy ice, man." Yeah. So
that's hilarious.
Fucker.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That was your number 3.
Who were we on?
Oh, we were on Ed.
No, my number 3 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then your 3 was Scream, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so mine has a funny story too. My number 3 is Hulk from 2008.
Is Mountain Dew involved?
No Mountain Dew, but that's not the movie I went to go see that day. Me and my friends went to go see Mirrors, and I don't know if you were with us, but we went to go see Mirrors, dollar movies with Kiefer Sutherland in it.
Oh yeah.
We had gathered up just enough pocket change for all of us to go see this movie, and we sat down the first 10 minutes. It was complete ass, and we were like, "We're not watching this movie." So we get up, and I don't know, we weren't high, but we were just so paranoid that we were going to get caught and they were going to like kick us out or something. So we were like, we don't have enough money to go pay for another ticket. Let's just go to another movie. So we went in and snuck in and got the beginning of Hulk from 2008 with Edward Norton in it. And at the end of the day, that movie wasn't all that much better either, but it was so much better than Mirrors. But yeah, the experience that day was let's just go see something we're not supposed to, because I think Mirrors was like rated R. We were like 17 anyway, but they were still, it was like 2008 dollar movies. They were still checking IDs. We didn't get ID checked for that one, but yeah, we were not sitting through that bullshit. And the experience was
that was at the dog theater over there at Crossroads when it was still there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where it cost you like $4 for a hot dog, but the movie ticket was $1.50.
Yeah.
See, that right there tells you the age difference between the two of us. The Crossroads movie theater you're talking about was the expensive movie theater when I was a kid. The dollar theater was Shills Plaza Super Cinema 8. And as you were growing up, the Shills Plaza was gone, and Crossroads 8 was the new $1.50 movie theater. So
Wow.
That's how you can tell the difference in age between some of the cast members on this show.
I've seen a lot of fun movies too in that Crossroads $8.50 movies. Like,
So have I.
yeah, it was insane.
I saw
But yeah,
one of my kind of jumping off of that. This isn't on my list, but I saw House of Wax, the remake with Paris
With,
Hilton
that was actually
in
really
that
good.
theater.
Yeah.
And like my mom's friend took me, and I kind of talked her into going to see it, even though I was like way underage. And I just remember, like, it's like, and that movie kind of freaked me out. I'm not gonna lie, like, ugh, like when Jared Padalecki gets like waxed to death, essentially, that freaked me the hell out.
see,
One of my earliest experiences going to that theater. I'm sorry for over talking.
No, you're good.
Was 1989's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Mm.
Opened the same weekend as Batman. We got the choice. Do you want to go see Batman or do we want to see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? So us being kids, we chose Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And that's the earliest show. In 1989 is the earliest I remember going to that theater.
Wow.
See, I went and saw Batman Begins at the Dollar Movies 2 weeks after I bought it on DVD. And I was like, I bought it on DVD, and then I was like, oh, it's at the Dollar Movies, and it was 50 Cent Tuesday. And I was like, I have to see that. I got to see that on the big screen. So.
Oh, fuck yeah. I would have done the same thing.
But yeah, that's my number 3 is Mirrors, aka Hulk from 2008. Zach, what's number 3 for you?
Oh, this is fun. I'm not gonna lie, this has been a really fun episode so far. So, my next two, number 3 and number 2, have very personal stories to them. So
you're not gonna make us cry, are you? Maybe.
I've actually talked about this. So, number 3, 2002. Which movie came first? This one came first. So, I had just been diagnosed with cancer the second time around. I had the surgery, was starting treatment. May of 2002, Spider-Man came out, the first Tobey Maguire movie. And I'm sure it was just like when the first Batman came out. It was pandemonium. Like Spider-Man was everywhere. We had a good family friend that brought me a whole bunch of Spider-Man magazines and just kind of talking about the movie and everything. Now, keep in mind, I just had like a major operation. I was diagnosed with lung cancer. They had to go in, take the cancer out, and I had this like inch, like probably this size of a tube in my back to, prevent infection and fluid buildup and everything like that. The doctor comes in, like, how doctors in the hospital, they kind of do their rounds and see how their patients are doing. The patient came in and said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I flat out told him, and my mom loves to tell the story, is I told this doctor, like, "Hey, you got to get this tube out of my back. I got to go see Spider-Man." And he like this is a 10-year-old kid that was telling the doctor, I care about a superhero movie more than my actual life. So, long story short, and we saw this at Regal Crossroads. Like when it was like first built, it was a really nice theater. And I was like the equivalent of when the Warren opened up here in Moore. It was really nice. We were packed in there. It was just an incredible experience. And, I think we actually saw it the second time with another one of our friends and everything. And so that every time I think about that first Spider-Man movie, that's the memory that always comes back to it. And not to mention it's a great superhero movie. I think X-Men had come out a couple years before that, but that to me is like what got me into the superhero genre. So number 2 is not number 2. Number 3 is Spider-Man.
Oof. Spider-Man.
So there's no Mountain Dew, no comedy. That just that's just like we talked about.
Man, I'm sure you love the movie though, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I remember my mom bought me like the VHS later that year for Christmas or something, and I wore that thing out. So,
man, Edward, or no? You're number 3,
Jay.
right? Jay, number 2, or Ed? Have you said number 3?
Hollywood. Once upon a time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's right. My bad. Well, discombobulated. Jay, number 2. Jay, number
Jay?
two.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I left the room for a minute. My dog was fucking flipping. So are we on me now? Number two.
Number two.
Yep.
Number two.
There
Dos
was some
seconds.
awkward silence. There was some awkward silence because they're like, Jay, are we there? Did we lose him? Hello? Hello. My number two is personal story, just because, like most of these experiences have been, they've been personal stories. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. I was born in 82. I was 8 years old when the movie came out, so I was the target audience. And what I put down on paper was my parents said that on Sunday after church on opening weekend, we'd go see the Turtles movie. I was able to persuade the church bus driver, to take us home first. But when we got to the house, my parents were gone. So it amped me up even more. I by that point in time, I'd been watching the cartoon on TV. I was a fucking Ninja Turtle fucking nut. And it amped me up and freaked me up. We finished up the bus route, and now we were the last ones to be dropped off. And sure enough, my parents were home finally. Okay. We go to the house trying to hurry, and I go in the house trying to hurry everyone along so we can get to the movie theater ASAP. As we drove to the theater, all I could think of was how this movie is going to play out. We get to the theater, get our tickets, and this is at Crossroads 8. And everybody but my mom and I go find seats. We go get refreshments. We're on refreshment details. I help my mom get snacks and notice they have Ninja Turtle mini posters in the lobby. And I grabbed a handful of them. And then we finally stepped in the theater and found our seats. The lights dimmed, and I'm off on my turtle adventure. And a lot of shit movies were made during this time for kids. And I put, let's just say, my parents had to sit through a good movie.
That's the 90s one, right?
Yes. Have you guys given that one a watch here recently?
We haven't, not yet, but we will soon, though. It's going to be an episode soon.
Uh-huh. That movie will fuck with you. I got a little lost in my notes, guys. I'm sorry.
Pizza guy's got 30 minutes. No.
It's 30 seconds, sir.
I know. Huh?
I said it's pizza
But
dude's
yeah, that's
got 30 seconds.
Good number two.
You pissed everybody off with that comment, Ed.
Exactly.
Ed, number two.
All right, number two, I'm going to go ahead and okay. This whole experience is like whacked out of its own mind. But it was one of the funnest times I've ever had in the theater. It was a strange time that I had in the theater. Yeah. Haunted House 2. Marlon Wayans.
Oh, God.
Haunted House 2. Me and my wife go and we see this damn thing at the Crossroads Dollar Theater, okay? I don't remember what damn time, because it always seems like it's like midnight when you go into that shit, because it's always darker than hell. We go in and there's like a family, and literally I'm talking young, like 8 to 12-year-old kids, like 3 kids, 8 to 12, somewhere in that area with all 3 of them. And I'm like, are you sure? But I'm just like, it's not my kids, not my bullshit. But this is what, 2014, and we just go in, and I mean, I know Juan, I know you don't really like those parody types, Scary Movie and Haunted House and different things like that. Paranormal Activity, whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
But this one, man, it's hilarious, because the shit that Marlon Wayans, Damon Wayans, any of the Wayans brothers go and do is ridiculous. So, you've got him doing biblical things to a Annabelle doll. And it's just like, in the back of my head, I'm going, there's 3 minor children, like 5 rows behind me, watching the same shit I'm watching this dude bang an Annabelle porcelain doll. And I'm just like, you decided as a parent to bring your kids to this. Not, are you really? But
I had that same experience when I went and seen Clerks 2. There was a guy that brought 3 young kids, ages 10 to fucking 7. I'm not even bullshit, and they were laughing at. We've all seen Clerks 2. I don't think Zach has, but we've all seen Clerks 2. And that movie, it has a fucking donkey show in it, okay? And you don't have to take kids to a fucking donkey show.
When I went and saw Sausage Party in 2016, there was like 4 rows in front of me that was nothing but kids.
That was
a hell of a sausage party. I'd actually take my kids to go see that.
That was the advertisement, though. That was the fucking marketing for Sausage Party, bro. That looked like a kid's film if you didn't pay attention much. It did.
Yeah.
That's
it did.
Number
they
two.
have like a stamp rated R on the poster saying, "Hey, don't take your kids to see this."
Okay. You know Kevin from the Sportscast, right?
Right.
Kevin. Okay. Kevin's all of our cousins besides Zach. You know, we're all family here. And Kevin took his son. His son at 4 years old took him his very first movie. His very first fucking movie, Jackass the movie.
Hell yeah.
4 years old, and we're like, there's a fucking half dozen of us going in this bitch, and fucking we take an entire aisle by ourselves, and we're just sitting there like this 4-year-old's like seeing someone stick a car up their ass, and they're throwing snakes. You know, I'm just like, oh,
pissing in snow and eating it.
Yeah, exactly. It was like his first fucking film experience was Jackass.
Oh my god,
dude! No, when I went to go see Deadpool, the first Deadpool, right next to me is this little like 8-year-old kid and his mom. I've got Alex or my wife on this side, this 8-year-old kid and his mom on this side. This kid is in love with this film throughout the whole time, and I'm just like, really?
Oh, bro, you should need to remember, our parents used to take us to see fucking RoboCop 2 and RoboCop in theaters and fucking Terminator 2 and shit. Violence didn't matter to our family. If there was nudity in it, there was a problem. If there was violence in it, fuck it, we're watching it.
Yeah.
Language? Okay, and I'm gonna beat your ass, you know.
Our parents said worse at home than the movies did that we watched.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Friday is going to be my daughter's first PG-13 movie in a theater.
What is that?
Night of the Living Dead.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
We could probably call it G now.
Yeah, technically. She's seen worse, though. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. We're fucking... You want to watch Terminator with Daddy? Come sit down and watch the fucking Terminator with Daddy.
Bro, no. I'm going to get you a Chucky doll, and you're going to rip the head off this little bastard.
Yep.
Oh, dude, I was fucking 5 years old when I seen Chucky in theaters. That movie freaked me the fuck out because we had we didn't have good guy dolls. We had the My Buddy dolls, and me and my brother had My Buddy dolls. And ever since I seen that movie, I was like, "Fuck you! I don't want that My Buddy doll."
That's funny.
And hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick before we go any further. The time limit. Let's just keep talking. I'm having fun. I'm having a blast.
Oh, that's why I was like, the elephant. What?
Yeah. Usually when we have top 5 episodes,
they go a little longer.
Out, have fun. Yeah, they're a little bit more girthier.
Yeah, they are. Look at that girl. The two-hander.
Number 2 for me is
Ed. What was your number 2?
A Haunted House 2.
Haunted House 2. Okay. Go ahead, Johnny.
Because there was little kids in the theater with him.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is The Dark Knight Rises. This was actually I was age 22, and it was my first ever IMAX. Yeah.
I've never been to an IMAX movie ever.
I think Dark Knight Rises was my first IMAX as well. And it was at the Warren when they built it.
Yep, and it was a complete sellout. This was at 11 o'clock in the morning. I went to the first showing of the day, and even then, it was a complete sellout. Being a big fan of the first 2, not knowing how this one was going to end, how are they going to, if they even do pay tribute to the Joker, man, and it was just I remember this one more than The Dark Knight in the theater, just because of, it was the end. It was the climax. And then they left you on that damn cliffhanger of Robin and Batman being on his vacation away. And it just kind of like, man, so what's next? Is this the end? I was confused. Is it not the end? man, the music, everything just vibrating your seats. The opening scene with Bane and the plane. I had a complete blast with this movie in a theater experience, packed. When you see Batman for the first time on the highway on the motorcycle, the entire theater, including myself, because everybody got up from the front row all the way to me, and I was on the very, very high back. So it was like the wave. As soon as you see Batman for the first time, and the police officer's like, "Oh, you're gonna like this," everybody in the entire theater just stood up and was like giving applause, like they had just got done
Oh
seeing.
yeah, we're like, you're in for a treat tonight, boy.
Yeah, the entire theater stood up and just applaud like you just got done seeing Guns N' Roses or some shit. And then same thing when the movie was over, everybody stood up, applause, and it was a pretty special moment. It was real fun. So yeah, number 2 for me is The Dark Knight Rises for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was a fun. It was an early birthday gift. That movie came out like in mid-July, and my birthday was the first week of August, so it was a fun special birthday gift. So that's my number 2. Zach?
Nice. Number 2 is kind of bouncing off of my number 3. It was the same year of Spider-Man in 2002. Was starting to do treatments, lost my hair. We were the movie and something. If you want to get into this, I guess you would say, because of my health history, I wasn't able to do sports. That's why I don't have an affinity for sports like you guys do. I wasn't able to do a lot. So movies was pretty much my escape. They were able to get me out of a dark place of time and able to let me escape to somewhere else. That's why I love going to the movies. I love film. That's just my passion. So needless to say, do you guys remember back in the day in the newspaper when they advertised film, they put all the times in, they put like the little movie posters.
Yes.
There was a whole
loving those.
Entertainment section of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I love the Friday and Sunday section.
Exactly. The Friday was the best because it was just like a big spread. Like they had their own little section. It was incredible.
What's coming out that weekend and shit. Yeah, I love that.
They gave reviews. They had like 5-star reviews, like little stars and everything. I miss that.
Were you reading the Daily
We just don't get that no more. The Daily Oklahoma. Yep. So this movie came out in August of 2002. Now we did an episode on this 2 years ago. Yes. This is not a horror movie technically. This is more of like a thriller sci-fi film. I just remember going in the theater. You remember how Regal had like the pillars and they had the posters on each side of the pillar? You remember that? They had this poster, Signs, and Night Shyamalan's Signs. I was like, we got to go see that. The poster I love. It's so simple. The crop sign that leads up to the house and it's just like a dark, like menacing look. My mom took me to see this, and I think that was one of the few times in my life that I was absolutely terrified in a movie. Like I had my hands over my ears, like I was just so terrified of what was going to happen. And later that year, my mom bought me the VHS, and that's just one of those memories that the way our old house is like there was a hallway outside my room. I was like outside the hallway watching the movies because I was so terrified of it. But Signs is such a personal film to me. It's a beautiful film, honestly. It has such great meaning. You could nitpick at the aliens and the twists and everything, but it goes with me. I go with it. Mel Gibson is great. Joaquin Phoenix is great. It's
swing away.
It's
swing away, Mel. Swing away.
Yep. I know a lot of people say Sixth Sense is his masterpiece, but in my opinion, Science is his masterpiece.
So with the alien, in regards to the aliens, the only one I would actually say that's kind of dated is the last one where he's holding him.
Yeah,
that one is definitely dated. But the one in the dark on the barn or whatever, that one's still scary as hell.
Well, see,
And
the thing
then
is that they weren't really aliens, bro. They were demons because of the holy water. All the water around the house was holy water, and they were burned by water.
Right. Well,
And that's what. M. Night Shyamalan's came out and said that they were demons. That it's based on a spiritual. The whole movie's based on Mel Gibson's character being a preacher and coming back to his
Right.
faith.
right.
That's insane.
And those are demons.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't think about that either. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Damn.
So that
like
scene, the scene where it's at nighttime and he's in the cornfields and he drops the flashlight and like he picks it up and looks and the foot goes back in the crops. That
the like
I was like,
reverse
okay.
calf. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But dude, like when the one on the top of the house, that was my moment right there. I was like, no.
Yeah.
You know, kind of
And
shit.
we were at a packed theater too, because that like at that time M. Night Shyamalan was like Christopher Nolan, like he could do no wrong, and everyone wanted to see what he was going to do next.
What
So,
was it?
yeah.
That The Village?
Well, people were disappointed with The Village because they were like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
people
wasn't
were
as
pissed
good
about
as the
that one.
first three. Yeah,
I mean, true, but
a lot of people
I
say
still
a lot
like
of people
it.
say after a lot of people say I like The Village. I don't think it's as good as his other films, but a lot of people say after The Village he kind of fell off and he really didn't come back until.
And then he did Avatar and pissed everyone off.
Yeah, he really didn't have like a resurgence until like The Visit or at least Split. Split was the one that kind of was like, oh yeah.
I thought he had an all right. I thought he had an all right showing with Cabinet. What's that one with Batista where there was a cabin? Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, Knock at the Cabin. Yeah.
Did you
guys
guys
see
see
his new one, Trap?
Yeah, with
that one looks good. Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah, looks good.
It's actually going to be a summer of Shyamalan because he has Trap coming out, and his daughter directed a movie called The Watchers with Dakota Fanning. So it's like a summer of Shyamalan. So
cool.
So anyway, number two is Signs.
Nice. Jay, what's your before we get into
it?
Yeah. Before we get into number one, don't forget check out Red and Blues Pizza. You can order them to go using DoorDash at 405-602-2838. You can also use them as Uber Eats. They deliver with Uber Eats. Located right up the street from me here at 4500 South May Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Check them out. Great pizza, great prices. $7, $8. They have gyros, salads, sandwiches, a cheeseburger pizza, a fajita pizza. Try their chicken bacon ranch pizza. Everything is good. Everything's phenomenal, top notch. Check out their top 5, which is inspired by yours truly. You can also check out their cinnamon sticks. And their cinnamon sticks are amazing too. They melt in your mouth and your hands. So check them out. Red and Blues Pizza, 405-602-2838. Number one time.
All right, before I get to my number one, I have not been to the theater very many times with Johnny before. I've only been like once. You know, as a child, I went with him a lot because my mom and his mom, they're sisters, and they were best friends as well. So we were constantly around each other. I know Johnny as Fred because his mom called him Fred. For
like
some fucking weird reason. Yeah, Fred. His nickname growing up is Fred. So I'm sorry to display that knowledge here on the show today. There,
no, you're good. And that's upsetting because out of all the times I got taken to the movie theater, and you remember, I think I only remember once, and it's the time that you worked at Winchester, and
it was The Lost World.
Yeah,
Dad brought us speakers.
Yeah.
But I'm about my number one. You're included. I'm going to tell you about the number one. But this is the only time that we're old enough to understand what the fuck's going on. You had a girlfriend at the time. I don't remember her name. You're not with her no more. You weren't with her for a while. I had my Stephanie. I was still with Stephanie, and we went and seen Watchmen.
Yeah, it's okay. Now remember that one.
And you were like, I don't know what the fuck I just watched, but that movie was awesome. That was your fucking critique of the movie. It's like, I don't know what the fuck I just watched, but that was awesome. But that's my one and my story of going to the movie theater with Johnny.
Yeah.
That should be
my
on more.
number-
That should be on more posters. I don't know what the fuck I watched, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that
Because
was
he
fun.
went in completely blind. He was like, "What's this movie to watch?" And I was like, "Dude, it's a comic book movie. Just fucking, I think you'll like it." All right, put my cigarette out. Sorry. My number one is Batman Returns. Hillcrest Drive-In Theater, a drive-in built near the Will Rogers Airport. Who would have thought? You know, good concept to have a fucking drive-in next to an airport. But they did. They built the fucking there used to be a drive-in near Will Rogers Airport.
Wow.
Was opening weekend, and the drive-in was the cheapest route for the entire family to see Batman Returns. I can remember everybody who went with us. My mom, my stepdad, my Aunt Juanita, and my Uncle Johnny. Add in all the kids and my childhood friend Shannon, and there was a herd of us there to see Batman. I remember that they showed Memoirs of an Invisible Man starring Chevy Chase first. I watched it here and there, but I was amped for Batman. Batman was finally starting, and my brother and my friend Shannon and I found seats at the projection booth. Who has seen the Outsiders?
Oh yeah.
You know how they have those seats at the projection booth?
Yeah.
That's how this theater was set up. It had seats that you could sit in by the projector. And so we sat there for the next 2 hours. We watched Batman Returns. And I was like, I personally love the film. It was what I wanted out of a Batman movie. We all ended up enjoying the movie. Entire family was pleased. We headed out as the third movie started up, the boxing film Gladiator with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That was 1992. You were 2 years old, Fred, or Juan. I told you were with me on some of these. You went.
That's insane. And nobody stayed for Gladiator.
Nope, we all left.
What was? Oh, and you said the Chevy Chase movie was before.
Yes, Memoirs of the
Damn.
Invisible Man.
What a.
And it was the opening weekend for that movie too, and that movie bombed horribly. Like it started Chevy Chase and Daryl Hannah.
Batman
Yeah,
Returns.
see, oh yeah, you guys were like, I'm still stunned that I remembered I seen Memoirs of a Invisible Man. Like nobody fucking remembers that movie. But yeah, Batman Returns is my number one, just because it was a family event. Me and your dad had been talking about who was going to, like, they can only cast Danny DeVito as the Penguin. We don't know, and they kind of let it slip out that the Catwoman would be the next villain as well. And me and your dad would just sit there and be like, who do you think would be a good Catwoman? And neither of us came with Michelle Pfeiffer. I could tell you that one. But we both were all amped up that Michael Keaton was back as Batman and Tim Burton was back. It was fucking, our family was Batman crazy.
What how old were you at 92?
10 years old.
Nice.
So I was probably a second grader, man. Getting my
What a
Batman
memory.
on. And seen at the drive-in, no less.
What a memory.
All right.
That's a good number. That's a good number one. A good number story. Ed, what's your number one?
Number one for me, man. 1 second, let me pull this back out because, gotta be on task. Okay, number one for me. Honestly, Infinity War. I went with few people. I don't know, some ass hats. I don't remember. But no, I'm just kidding. But but man, with that one, it was cool because you got to go see it. Most people took 2, 3, 4 friends. It was a movie that everybody knew was going to be a heavy movie. Everybody knew big stuff was happening, but none of us knew how big. None of us understood exactly where this movie would go from the time we first heard of it to the time it ended, and then the next one, Endgame, started. With this, man, it was a whole roller coaster. Like, during the final fight, you were like, yeah, let's get this. Okay, go. And it was just like, oh, damn. Okay. We've done this episode. It was one of our biggest
up to that point.
build-ups, for that matter, up to that point, exactly. Because we were like, dude, let's use this to try and see what we've got, see what we can do out with this whole, podcast journey, and kind of help elevate it and each other for that matter. And God, going and seeing that, just being straight ahead, like it was. Once you're here, you're here. You don't go anywhere. You're here, kind of thing. So it was an awesome experience. Can't really go ahead and top that for that year, but at the same time, whenever the credits rolled, and you've got everybody who did get sucked in by the blip, everybody that did go gone, it kind of was like it was powerful, just like in game, but it was powerful in a different way, because now you're waiting for the next experience. You're waiting for the reveal of who comes back.
One of the coolest things about to me, one of the coolest things about a secret thing about Infinity War is that when Groot dies, he looks at Rocket and says, "Dad."
Yep.
Not a lot of people know that. Groot sits there and calls him Dad as he dies, and it's like, oh fuck, man! Just seeing Groot die, enough people were just fucking in tears. They were like, "You can't fucking kill Groot." No, we're killing Groot.
And then no, it wasn't even the fact that like okay, the cooler thing was, because we all heard about that too, but it was Vin Diesel got actual lines, but it was just for the delivery's sake, for like, okay, this is how you're supposed to tone up, tone down, kind of question mark this, and go from there. This is how you interact, and that's why the different even the young Groots is Groot, and all that, and Star-Lord's like, hey, don't use that kind of language with me, man. It's different things like that. It's because it's like, screw you or something like that, and it's just like, hey, but
the Marvel Universe had an impact on my life. My dog of 7 years now, his name Groot.
Fair.
I have a Chiweenie. He's a Chiweenie named Groot. He looks like a fucking pork chop.
Have you dressed him up as?
No, I have not. But I dressed him. I put bat wings on him though.
That's awesome.
And he just looked. I took a picture of him. And he just looked so miserable in the fucking picture. He's like, "Kill me now."
But yeah, with that one, it's more just the fact of how powerful the anticipation and the buildup and the just crushing defeat. Like y'all said, the villain finally won. That crushing defeat, that was just like, where does this go from here?
I also love the fact that Spider-Man, out of all the people that were affected by the blip, that Spider-Man, because of his spider senses, was able to tell that there was something fucking going to happen. And he's just looking at Tony Stark. And it's so sad. My wife, my ex-wife, cried during this scene when Spider-Man died. Whenever he looks, he's like, "I'm sorry, Mr. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do.
I don't want to go.
I don't want to die. I don't want to go." And he just had that one tear flow down his cheek. My ex-wife lost her fucking mind. She was one of those ones that, I don't want to watch Infinity War. By the time Infinity War is over, it's like, yeah, you cried through the entire fucking movie, so shut up.
Dude, no. That's another satisfying feeling right there, is when you get someone who does not like it, who doesn't give a shit about it, and is just all against it. And you're just like, no,
and they get sucked
into
this.
It. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, huh. It's kind of like that one back there. Star Wars she'd seen which one? The first one?
Number 4.
So 4, the original Star Wars. And she was like, okay, like, I just, not my thing. I don't care for the rest of them. I'm like, dude, I think you'd really love number 2, because it's kind of a love story, and I think that would suck you in to get the rest of them going. She's like, whatever. And I was like, okay, make a deal with you. We're going to go here only if we go ahead and watch all of those. And she's like, fine, whatever. And I was like, no phone. You have to pay attention. You can't just be on that shit. you have to pay attention. She's
You got to
like,
pay attention to
okay,
all the Jar Jar shit. You have to fucking take all that Jar Jar shit in.
miss a nut. But exactly, and I mean, she isn't like Star Wars got to, but now she understands why her brother is so infatuated with it, why I like it so much, why, everybody, is just into it. So she understands it. May not be her favorite still, but
That's
she at least understands it.
Exactly. That's the best thing about a movie.
Yeah.
But she has a big Jar Jar collection. Ladies and gentlemen, we just want to expose that she does have a big Jar Jar collection, and she is a Jar Jar fan.
She does want to. She says she'd watch it again. So there's that.
That's always a good mark. That's always a good mark from someone that they don't want to watch shit. They're like, you got to check this out, and they're like, no, I don't. You're like, well, fine, fuck you. I thought you loved me.
We've talked about our top 5 favorite movies of all time, but I think it'd be fun to revisit that list and then add an additional 5 and talk about our favorite 10 of all time. I think that'd be pretty fun.
You're list happy tonight, aren't you?
Yeah.
4-hour episode.
The list is brought to you by what's the pizza place?
Red and Blues.
Red and Blues.
Yeah, remember, anytime we do a top 5, it's brought to you by Red and Blues.
Top 5.
Yeah.
You can get their top 5.
They have a lot of top 5s.
Everybody was interested. Everybody was interested in the number 1. My number 1 is super, super bitter, but it's also kind of fun at the same time.
Did you say bitter?
It's a little bitter.
Bitter, better, butter.
Bitter, better, butter. Last week of October, 2014, first week of November, we get the teaser of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and Jay, Ed, you might know this too. The only movie I ever got to see a movie with my dad in the theater was Jurassic Park at the drive-in. I don't remember much. I was like 6 years old. So super fucking hyped. We get to see our first Star Wars movie together. And then
you're good.
You're with friends. Just let it go.
It's all good.
And then he passed away. Like the week the trailer came out. And long story short, a year later is when we get to go see the movie finally. And I can't remember what I was doing, but I know I called in from work that day because I was working at Alliance. And it was Craig's birthday weekend, so he took like that entire week off. He's crazy. He went to go see it 6 times in the first 3 days. And so I didn't want to go alone. I didn't know what anybody else was doing, so I went and I was like, hey, you want to go? And he had seen it already once, so we went and seen it. He accommodated me. We went to like the closest theater, and while I was watching it, he was watching me, and he was going back and forth. And you get a movie like that, and all the movies that I remember to this day, I fucking hated. Indiana Jones, Alien, Predator, RoboCop, Demolition Man, Rocky, Star Wars, Wrath of Khan. It goes on, and like I just never wanted any of those movies ever because they were always like forced on me, and I'd walk through the room, they were being played, and he would push out those lines of those movies. And now it's like that's half my collection. It's like those are some of my most favorite movies of all time. Ninja Turtles. So going and seeing that movie, I still to this day can't watch the Han Solo scene.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, okay, to anybody who is part of the CO, as Juan and myself have called it, the Coolidge Originals. Back in the day, we used to just bullshit. It's a friend group and all that. So anybody who is a part of that knows his dad. That dude is and was a legendary guy, just simply based on the fact that, like, funniest, kindest, most like well-hearted dude I've ever met, as well as like he'd bust your chops down if it never had been busted down before.
Oh,
That man knew how to turn the dumbest, worst shit ever into the best and funniest time ever. And I don't give a damn who you were from at least what the year of 2000, 2001. If that man wasn't watching a Saturday cartoon in the morning, any Saturday you gone over and like chilled at his house, that man was laying in bed or sitting on his bed watching those damn cartoons. Whatever was cooked, he was eating or whatever. I mean, it was ridiculous on some of the stuff this guy did, but
I remember his
Marine, all
laugh.
kinds.
I remember his laugh mostly. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, and
you sit there and you spoke of all those movies about how Demolition Man, Wrath of Khan, all these other fucking movies, and guess what? They're now part of your collection in your memory bank for your father. Your father gave me those as well. He not like I told you a story about how we went to the fucking pawn shop and we found Star Wars Episode 4, 5, and 6 on fucking on VHS, and he had to fucking buy them quickly. Like, and then we went home and watched Episode 4. So no, I get you on this one, man. Fucking for real. It's man.
And going back to the movie, it's like one of those. It's just like, man, and his later part of his years, he never wanted to go out to a movie. It was always work, 65 hours, come home, maybe a flea market here and there. But like, I had been trying to get him to go to the movies for a long time. Even working at a movie store, I was like, hey, look, this is coming out, and give or take, it's fine. I never pressed it too much, but I was like, guess what's coming out next year? And he was already sick at the time, and that just he had that big smile, and he was like, count me in, and yeah, it was fun. And then a year later, going and seeing that movie, everybody stood up in the theater. It was elbow to elbow. It was like Saturday at 4 p.m. Even though it was like not opening night, but it was still opening weekend. Like, movie theater was completely sold out. Adam Driver to this day for me has been like one of the best, if not the best, Star Wars character that I've just latched onto. And even stuff he does outside of Star Wars, it's just I don't know if it's just like a memory because of the Solo scene, but Adam Driver to me has been like, he is now in that upper echelon of like, if he's coming out with something, even if it's 65, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah.
My favorite Adam Driver thing is whenever he did this Saturday Night Live Undercover Boss special. Did you guys ever see that one?
Yeah.
Even the scene where
did you ever see that one?
The very ending
where
scene.
he was still Kylo Ren, but he was going on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's one of my favorite skits with Adam Driver.
I need to watch that again.
We lost everybody. Hello.
Yeah. Good. But yeah, that scene for me, and I didn't mean for the episode to turn that way, but theater experiences was probably that one for me.
Yeah.
Ending scene was perfect. So.
Jay.
Just get that to the boy.
Jay.
But yeah,
I think he's talking to someone.
That was my number one. Zach, finish us off.
Oh shit! I don't know how I'm gonna follow that, but all right. I kind of have a similar story. My dad was a very big boxing fan, and so he liked the Rocky movies and everything. And Creed 2 was coming out, and I tried to get him to go see it, and he was a prideful man, and so he made up excuses and everything, and so I want to take him up to the balcony to see it, and it never panned out. So, my number one. This one is kind of. It's not really emotional. It's not an emotional story. It's just kind of. It reminds me of why I like to go to the movies and why theaters can be a very special place given the right circumstances. 2017, my number one is Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's war movie. Saw that in the IMAX. The thing I love about Christopher Nolan is that when he does IMAX, it's IMAX. It's like all on your face. That opening sequence when the soldiers are like walking down the street and the gunfire starts going off and they start getting killed one by one, it puts you in the mood. It sets you up to what's going to happen. You have three storylines: the air, the land, and the sea, and they're all going back and forth, and they're all playing off each other. And it was such a technical marvel. Congratulations, Johnny! You got the whole thing. Got the whole chat crying. That to me is when I walked out, I said that's a movie experience. That's why we go to the movies. That's why, as film fans, we like to be entertained. We want those type of stories to move us, and it just shows like why even something like Oppenheimer it can sell at a 600 feet IMAX theater because Christopher Nolan knows how to make a movie. He knows how to tell a story. And Dunkirk, that to me is like when I first thought of theater experiences, that was number one for me.
So I want to share one more experience, and I know this isn't, it's not part of the list because this is more of a it was kind of just we went in, we went out. Like that's all it really was. Mm-hmm. Me and you, if I'm not mistaken, the first video we took live, October 13th, 2018, Halloween.
Oh yeah. Halloween.
Me and you, yeah. That was the first video we ever posted live to this channel that showed our faces besides a picture.
Yeah.
You were still dressed in work attire. I was in a black shirt because I had gotten off work a little bit earlier and all that. We were talking about how, we're planning to get scared and we've got our popcorn, we've got our drinks, and we've got our diapers on. And, we're prepared to get scared shitless or whatever. That almost made it, but it was more of just we were going in and I don't remember if we had something to do or if it was another time crunch kind of thing, but we just went in, watched, went out, and yeah, that's the only reason that one didn't make it.
That's the first movie that we did in the theater that we went back and talked about on the show. Mm-hmm. So that was our first in theater movie reaction. Yeah.
That was man. I actually just went and watched that video the other day.
Really?
Yeah. That was pretty cool. Though that one and the podcast trailer that we first did are still pretty near and dear. So yeah.
And as a quick tangent, kind of jumping off of what you said, Ed, this one didn't make my list, but because I just thought about it, if I had to, this would have been in my top 5 is when I went and saw the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch, because I
see that in theaters too.
We went to Quill Springs Mall to see that, and that was a memorable experience as well.
Oh yeah,
man! What a list, guys! What an episode! That was a fun conversation.
Well, I just want to sit there and reiterate again. I just want to reiterate again how much thought we put into our list for one, and the shit we came up with as our experiences. We had some hell of experiences going to the fucking movies. These just weren't. I wouldn't seen Batman and it was over. Like no, man. Well, I was sitting there watching Aladdin. This dude's back there huffing paint, getting high. It was like, yeah, and we have that fun experience right there. Or Johnny has his experience where he's going to go see a film with his dad. That's a memorable experience right there. We go with our kids to go see a fucking movie, and that becomes a new core memory for us. All these fucking movie experiences that we had today and shared. This was to me a very introspective episode on how our minds work because we laid bare our own
truth in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
show a bit of our sides that normally aren't as unpersonal, for that
Well,
matter.
most of the time we're just basically talking about a movie, what we thought about it, and we're going on about our business. Here we're talking about what was our business, what happened to us, what experience do we have. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Oh my God, Bad Grandpa. Bad Grandpa, that's a good one.
I think the only thing I have left to say is that, I think people forget like when movie theaters first happened, that was an event. People got dressed up to go to a theater, to a movie, to go watch it. And now
it was a night on the town.
But now you have people sitting there texting in the middle of a movie and, in their pajama pants. And it's just, I don't.
Someone gets pajama pants? What the fuck, bro?
No.
Yeah.
I like to be comfortable while I'm watching my movies. I'll come in my pajamas. Thank you very much.
And pay no attention to me with that brown paper bag in the back, okay?
Just help paint.
Is that paint? Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have kids yet. I think my kids are gonna, if I ever have kids, they might grow up in a world where there are no movie theaters. Unfortunately, just the way it's going.
Look,
man, that scares me.
If there are, they're gonna be showing asses the movie. See, I don't know if anybody gets that reference or not. That's from Idiocracy.
Okay, look, you want to know how much I get that movie?
That's a movie itself. That's just a whole nother level.
Has that one been discussed on this show before?
No.
Oh, then it needs to definitely be fucking added to the list sometime. That's one to talk about.
That's good. That's good.
See, I love it when we just talk natural about shit. Yeah.
That's good.
Experience.
But yeah, the theater experience is still up in the air, and I don't, we may live in a world one day that doesn't, we'll just be watching on HBO Max eventually or whatever.
I think that the movie theaters will be okay. I don't think it will be the big thing anymore. But if drive-thrus are still around, it depends on who is trying to hold on to that. Depends on that.
My whole thing on movie theaters is that for them, like they used to do back in the day, they used to sit there and have a certain pay-per-view window on a movie. Like, this movie will not debut on pay-per-view for at least 90 days from the date it's released in theaters. So for 90 days, that means that movie theater had exclusive access to that movie. And if you're starting to notice on their advertising, they're starting to do this again because they're wanting to let people know that, hey, it's not going to be streaming anytime soon. Come see it in theaters. Is that they put that tagline now, only experience it only in theaters. So that's where I think that's where we're at, is that they're going to have to add more, like the 4D, the IMAX 3D and shit like that. They're just going to have to figure something out to make people come back the way they used to.
Yeah. And it's almost like, you can't have your apples and peaches at the same time, because they're going to do that for the Deadpools, for the Marvel movies, but the smaller movies are going to be like, you'll be in the theater for 2 weeks. Bye.
Well, see, that's another genre that's dead, is that cheap $20 to $30 million mid-grade comedy or mid-grade movie they used to bring out, during the summer months. They just have a movie that cost them $20-30 million to make. And it was just a whatever movie, they don't have that shit no more.
Nope.
Not really anymore at all.
See, even this discussion here is about the theater experience, because we're losing the theater experience.
Yeah.
Here we all four today sit there and talked about some of the most fun we've ever had at a movie theater, and some of the worst times we've had. To hear Johnny say that he didn't have fun at one time,
and that could be a whole nother episode. Bad theater experiences.
Bad shit.
Yeah. So, but next week we hope for a good movie theater experience as we talk all about 1968's George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, live on location. Come watch the movie at Film Row in Bricktown, Friday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. The screening starts at 6:30. The podcast will go live roughly around the same time. We'll be recording and doing the episode live in the theater, in the lobby. So come hang out with us, go see the movie, come back and forth, or just hang out with us even after the show. So should be fun. Yeah, get
Yeah.
you some stickers, get you some lighters. And we have some stuff that are be given away too. I'll be giving away a San Marcos food certificate. I'll also be giving away some OKC soda, some cases of OKC soda. So come hang out with us and enjoy the movie. Enjoy George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. It's the movie that started the zombie genre, literally. So come hang out with us and enjoy the movie. So other than that, guys, any
Come as you
final
are.
comments?
Come as you are.
That's right.
Yeah. It's been
So,
fun,
yeah.
guys. We like doing these episodes. We like to talk about what makes us us, and especially what movies had an impact on our lives.
So episode 295 next week. Don't forget Friday, May 3rd, live on location, Rodeo Cinema, Film Row. Don't forget Friday, May 3rd, right here. Another new episode live on location of the Cine-Men movie podcast.
Later.